it again. Hopefully now it's working on YouTube as well. Yeah, looks great. So now we can finally start, hopefully. 2025 and Technic is still not working as I wanted to. Naja, let's get into it. Where was I? Exactly. So let's just check. I don't think right, because it's currently not compiling. So, but where was I? I think it was in here. And if I go now, let's give the LSP some time to finish. Right, exactly. I was currently reworking how I do stuff in Beefy, because a lot of the triggers and observers, and I'm currently checking how to best use them, or how to use them best is maybe a little bit too much of a word. So, and exactly, I have now here, where was I? I have here my towers, and I get my nearby towers when I, what am I update tower, right. Get nearby. Actually, what I'm trying to do here maybe should be improved. Can I? So, as my problem, what I'm thinking currently about is that this method currently only returns more or less all the crits fields or entities that are around a certain index. So only, maybe I can actually make it work again, so I can actually show what I mean. So I think I can for now just comment this out, even if shooting not working. Let's check, but there's still some issue. On shot, okay. Exactly, that was the last thing I tried to implement. But for now, I remove this so I can actually think about what I wanted to do. Let me see. Yeah, you shouldn't leave the work unfinished like that, because then it's really hard to get back in. But I didn't felt well when I did that and decided, hey, better get some rest than continuing here and making a lot of mistakes. So now, if I run this, actually I hope it's not too loud, let's see. Yeah, great, exactly. So, as currently, the tower, as currently what the tower does, it looks at all enemies more or less, and sees if one is close enough to hit it. It would be nice if I could translate the tower range into hex crits and queries them only those that are inside the range. That would be amazing, but I'm not sure if I actually can do that. So maybe let's first look into it. Or how would I need to do it? As the range is from the midpoint of the hex tile. I have a radius. Maybe before I try to do that, I actually implement that the range will be visible, then maybe it's easier to reason about what needs to be done to make this work with my simple implementation for the spatial grid. Which is not exactly what I wanted to do, but hey, sometimes you have to change your plans. So, yeah, let's try to make the range visible. Let's see, before I make something completely unnecessary, let's try out Firefox and RGB or circle. Is there something? As I know that they have... actually, if I use... What is that? What did they use? Capsule, ellipse. Why is it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? 1, 2, 3, 4. Annulus. Is that right? Capsule. Well, it seems like. Interesting. I didn't know that it's called Annulus. But I'm not a native English speaker, so. Swear to God. Why the fuck? Okay, let me... So... Now I have all the chats everywhere. Okay, so... Let's see. When I hover, so actually I can hover. But I think I did it on the grid method. Here I should have. No. Next, I should have. Hover. Structure over here. That's this. Here on hover hex. Now I would like to know if I can propagate this event somehow. Cool, I really would like to have more knowledge about BV now in this case, but let's check, boys. Picker BV. Let's see. Propagate event. How would that work? BV mod picking. That does not sound like it's the right thing. Maybe it's this one. Yeah. Here. So hover map, what's this? So hovering refers to hover state, which is not the same as whether or not a pick backend is reporting hits, blah blah blah. It doesn't matter. I'm more interested in maybe. So I put here picking ignore. Let's see. Let's just try and do stuff. That's usually one way to do it. So I'm spawn power here, and I actually want this to be pickable. I'm not sure. Default. Ignore, nope. Is it just default? Let's see. Maybe there are different pickables. Maybe one should block lower. Would be a no. Is there a predefined state? What should I just grade it? Oh, it's not that I can. If I understood this correctly now. Should block lower false and is hoverable true. If I do it like this, let's see if this works. And now we can add here observe. On hover would be the... Why did it have a method already on hover? On hexhover. Okay, on hover would be the method I want. Let's just implement it directly here in our hover. I have a trigger. Trigger would be something like pointer over. Didn't import pointer, but that's fine. I want to have... What else do I want to have? Let's just see if PV... What is with my typing today? PV sprite picking. Does it work? Sprite picking? Image plugin. So what's something like image plugin? Nearest. Image plugin nearest, default nearest. Let's check what that does. That is what we need. And well, sometimes it's really main. And yeah, it's okay. And I really need to look into. I have so much imports in here that there's already is needed. So app set image plugin. What is this? Replace texture names as image names, but it's the image as an asset and makes sure they are extracted and prepared. Okay, that is what I expected. And it's just sampling. So is there an actual reason why they use default nearest? Let's just try it without and see if it works. Because I'm currently a little bit confused. Where was I? Tower. Tower. Okay, on tower. So we have this, and now we want to have some indicator to show when I hover this object. And now I just wanted to show the range on hover. Okay. Though actually what I want is probably something like my mesh. I actually said we can cloud for now. And now we want to have a circle mesh handle, let's say, call it like that. Our range indicator, let's call it like this. Let's go in here. Resource Right. Resource. And now abstract. Our range indicator, right? But all we need is handle mesh. We use the ref, we can't use it. Oh, I think so. Okay. Do we need a material? I guess we need a material as well. Resource ref abstract power range indicator material. And I know maybe it would make more sense to have this in one struct, but it actually feels kind of nice to have them separated, and let's call this mesh because of that. Where was I here? So we have this pickable, observe on tower hover, okay. Circle mesh handle, okay, tower range indicator mesh, and then we want circle maybe just because it could be something different besides a mesh. Mesh handle indicator, let's call it like that. And material handle indicator rest range material, right? That actually should be enough. Why does it say pointer? Didn't pointer of build pointer? Build the pointer. Okay, then I imported the wrong pointer. Pointer F format pointer. Now I'm wondering what the format pointer is. But hey, we go back and import the. I'm really what format pointer. What would be the format pointer? Let's double check if my streams are still running as expected. Okay. It seems it's still running everything. So, let's save. No, we have the pointer. Okay. But we need the commands as well. Commands. What commands? Well, we want to spawn something. So we want to get our entity. Commands entity trigger target at with child, and here we want to more or less now have a mesh 2D. This mesh handle indicator 0 lone. We want to have a material to mesh material. I knew it. Mesh, that's what I wanted. Mesh material. And we want to have the material handle indicator 0 lone. We need a transform will be inserted from us. Do we need anything else? Maybe pickable ignore just to make sure that it doesn't interfere. and I missed a comma there. So now we have a trigger target with child, mesh 2D, mesh handle indicator, mesh material 2D, and pickable ignore. Perfect. And nice. Do we need anything else? I don't. Well, actually, we need probably on out. We want to remove. So maybe we have something like a struct indicator. Derive. How was it called? What did I say? Component we need, and we have now here this indicator. And fn on our out. Trigger pointer out, I think, yes. What commands query would be, query would be query. So we want to have entity with indicator. Then we want to get entity is query single trigger target else return. No, not single get. That's what we want. And if we get something, entity despawn. So that will remove our so now we can go in here. Let's actually, before I forget it, because that's always usually the case. Init current resources. Okay, let range indicator asset server. No, not asset server. Matches at nullus. Inner radius, outer radius. Yeah, inner would be something probably like that, and outer would be something like that. Let material equal materials at indicator material, and we put that one in here. Up static range indicator material is a color HSLA. Let's just pick something random for now. Saturation, lightness, let's make it quite dark. And a little bit of transparency. Tuck range indicator indicator material. Maybe I should call this not material. Voila. Materials and also import. No. Go top, and I guess I can delete this one. So, since we now have the material and everything, let's go into actually I need to use them. Insert resource range. How did I call this? Indicator. Power range indicator. Range material and one inlet resource. Power range mesh is range indicator. So now we have it. Now we can on tower hover, and that should work. This method I need to add. Okay. Actually, let's see. No. Actually, what we actually do need to do, we need a query. Range with tower, because each tower should have a range. Exactly. Let's range equal query get trigger target, else return if we don't have a range. We can't. And now with this range, we actually do need from scale, and our scale is this. XY. Well, can't I just tell it to users? Don't they have something like because that probably wants a vec3, right? Vec3 from vec3 Can't I just say, hey, take the single value and make extend? It's not what I want. But now range 0 x y z. Is that something oops. But let's check. Maybe I can import something from BB. Is there something like what does it actually remap? Inverse lab blurb. Okay, that's not what we want. Okay, we don't have. So, okay, I'm convinced. Where was I? On here. From scale, I make AVEC 3 new. Or maybe I can, if I do default. I should just, like opt before I search here forever. Range 0, range 0, range 0. Congratulations. Now I have my transform that is a scales. Let's see how it looks. It looks like nothing. Which is kind of sad. Because I would have expected more. But let me check something, because I'm quite sure. But I'm quite sure. I had 20. I think I actually. I had this. Let's see if this now is working. If I now can see if it is at least. Yeah, I have. But it's not really readable, but hey. It does not lol. No. I somehow. Why? I somehow managed to. But it never gets out. Okay. It's not what I expected. But maybe. I know the reason for that. So let's go back to my towers. And let's. Okay. I of course need to observe on tower out. On power out as well. So now the indicator should be gone. Now let's make from transform from X, Y, Z. And give this something like that. So it's above. Hopefully that actually fixes it. So interesting. I don't. As it works better at recognizing it, but it seems it spawns endless and never despawns them. And they're a little bit thick, which is kind of unexpected. So let's go into tower. And tower out, let me check. It's tower and range. Okay. Let's just quickly add some debugging in here. Info. Or maybe I should just really call it debug. On, power out. And here, let's go just with error. NTT not found. Didn't I say? Yeah. So great. On tower out, entity not found. Okay, that's that. Now the question is, I wanted to make this a little bit in it. And now I see, let's do this quickly something to put this into a quick list. And now for all of them, we want to substitute red with our, and let me confirm it. Yes, yes, yes. Then I don't have this. I'm not sure why I can't be consistent in my naming. Let me quit those things. Thank you. So run. So okay, and so what's the one thing I actually got in here, I knew I forgot something, is that I wanted to make this a little bit, maybe that's too much. Let's go with that. And what did I want to do? Go in it tower, right? No. On tower out. That was the thing I wanted to look at. On, and now let's see. On what on tower out. Pattern not found. Let's try again on tower out. Maybe I miss. No, it's not there. Why? Let's go to grid. What did I do here differently? Trigger pointer out. It's exactly the same thing. It's exactly the same thing. Interesting. Interesting. Did I forget to say something, or it's the same pointer, target pointer, random. So why is it not working? As I would have expected, it's still kind of fat. Why? Pointer out, pointer not found. Let's it could be that I just entity. Actually here, entity not found is of course. I am too stupid sometimes. Go to definition. Actually, we can do here with over. So I need, of course, this. This thing is all I needed. All I needed was this thing. um. I really need to remember to use. Movement keys for words and stuff like this more often. So, child off. Now, actually, how did I do that? I'm really. Okay. I go through all. Yeah, but in the end, we should just have one, so we can actually do that. So if for e in query, or maybe not e and p. If p parent equals my trigger, what was it called? Trigger target, then in this case we want to do let's close it. This one now. What the fuck? So, what? Why XPR sometimes it's just breaking. Whatever commands. Entity spawn. And I think I should restart now on our go to. So let's go to grid, make sure I didn't make a on hex. Go to definition or not. Let's remove those random on hex out. Those random messages can be removed. Who1 parent equals trigger tower. Yeah, tower. Run. So, would you look at that? Now we have a range indicator. That's a little bit weird to look at, but and the question is it actually accurate? That's a big question. Oh, I lost. Kind of sad that I lost, but whatever. Um, let's check again if it's really is accurate. If I place this one here. As in, seems almost accurate, but hmm. Special crit is why? Ah, because I'm commented the code out that leads here to something. So okay, let's try to make this init our resources up. Let's actually try to make it really thin and see how that would look like. Ah, and I remember, and I know now why it doesn't trigger in the exact second an enemy enters. Because I only spawn my timer and... nice. Something addition, because here that's exactly this a domination that spawns my timer. And then I just tick it and just finished. So it will wait 1 second. So actually if I probably should have here something like timer spawn false and now timer spawned equals true or timer spawned. So now if we run this again, then hopefully, if I now place, yeah, and now you can see how it's the seconds they cross the line. They actually get attacked. Okay, nice. Since this is now working, let's try Let's try. A little bit more. Let's go into, and not more. Let's. What do I want it? My brain is starting to not work again. So, what do I need to do now? Actually, I remember what I wanted to do. I wanted to remove. I wanted to remove now. Here's this. Oh, where is it? This plugin again. Debug picking plugin. Right. So. Just to make sure it's. Yeah. No, So. Now we can think about. Or actually, if we start this actually one last time. Cargo run. Oh, I let's push the wrong button. Cargo run. Let's go. And now. So. So ideally, we want to have all entities. So especially if we think about the future, if we want to have some kind of aiming. Actually, one thing I wanted to do forever is to increase the speed of my tower. What am I doing? Yes, that's what I wanted to have. Do I have projectile size speed? Let's make them even faster. And hold on. Also currently they always try to target the closest enemy. The closest to themselves. But actually, maybe I should. Maybe. Maybe. More or less. So what can we do that makes sense actually in the case of how do I say it? In the case of I'm currently so my problem is I'm currently and why does it why did it unmute myself? What the fuck? Why did that happen now? I wonder sometimes. Really, really hard. But okay, so my problem now is how do we do this ideally that we can as we have the possibilities, some possibilities. So we have here this move, I called it update, enemy. So I want to have ideally at some point some kind of flexible targeting system. So now my question is, can I here at this point have something like how to say it? Can I trigger here, for example, an event and all my towers listen to that event, for example, and check if the enemy is in their range, then more or less I would put the enemy into their collection of targetable enemies, and if not, they would remove it from the collection of their targetable enemies. That would at least reduce the amount of enemies I have to query each time for a specific tower. But then my question is how, and each but how efficient would that be? Probably good enough. Now the only question is then how, for example, also let's first expose this event probably. So we updated here our translations, and we updated our spatial grid for how do I say it? Or the other way I could do it would be that I implement some kind of query for the spatial grid where I can pass a range and it would return me all the enemies within that range around a point. Then because then at least I would have less how do I say it? Less actually, that reminds me, I actually need to check if this is working because I actually never checked if this is working. No entity found. Because if I have to do special stuff, to make the remove work, then it's probably easier to just use the triggers for my actually then I would need to investigate how to make remove work before I think about optimizing my targeting behaviors. But yeah, let's for now check if this is working. Entity remove. Let's see, cargo run. So let's see if entity removed. Great, so actually my removing works already. Hi. Nice seeing someone showing actually up. And I'm just not talking with myself. Yeah, sure. I actually think I have it in my stream description. Maybe not on Twitch. Let me check. Do I have it? No, actually, yeah, German stream. I actually have it in there. So, if you want to talk German with me, feel free. I understand you, and probably people can hear it in my, yeah, Denglish I speak. Ja, an sich ganz angenehm. Regnerisch. Wo bist du? Wo kommst du her? Auch aus Deutschland? Oder sind es nur die paar wenigen Sätze, die du sprichst? So, where was I? Ich glaube, es soll ja demnächst wieder wärmer werden. Wenn mich nicht alles wird. Jetzt kann ich jetzt kurz gucken, was eigentlich das Wetter gerade sagt. 17 Grad, regnerisch. Und wenn ich jetzt hoffentlich, manchmal dauert es viel zu lange. Okay. Light Rain, Shower Rain. Also morgen regnet es auch und übermorgen auch. Yeah, me too. Me too. I actually I switched to Arch just recently because I was really annoyed how unproductive I am on Windows. So I switched to Arch and to see if I'm more productive. And I have to say I really am more productive. That's yeah. It took some time to get used to. I'm using Hyperland. And it took me some time to set it up correctly, or maybe not correctly, until it worked. But now that it's working and I can mostly only, especially if I'm programming, I can mostly rely just on using my keyboard. I don't have to use my mouse at all. I'm not sure what you want to tell me with that sentence. I'm Windows Vater number one. Also Vater is a feather. Father. Okay, hater. Okay. Okay, that's one thing. Yeah. Yeah, good to know. Any reason why you hate Windows so much, or is it just I'm evil as just a generic hate on Windows that a lot of people have? Yeah. I'm building or trying to building a simple tower defense to learn DV and see if it how good it is. And actually, I'm kind of surprised how good it is. So yeah, if you have any questions or any yeah, or even suggestions or whatever, just feel free to tell me, and I probably ignore it. But hey, I at least read it. Um, I think Bevy is open source as far as I know, if I remember correctly. Yes, that's I think they got a collection. How was it? TV.org. I think in the news. Yeah, privacy is a thing, but I'm not entirely sure how. Yeah, in the internet, for sure. You should be kind of, yeah, make sure the right people get your links only. But actually, where was it? What I wanted to show? Here, no, exactly. That's what I wanted to show. That Beaver Foundation is now public charity. Exactly. That's. Yeah, I'm not sure. And actually, I want to. One reason why I do the stream is to improve my English speaking and get into the habit of speaking more English. That's why I try to speak more English. But yeah, sometimes I probably fall back to German if I forgot it, the English word, and am too lazy to look it up. So yeah, actually, my reading comprehension is really good in English, but speaking. Yeah, I know. That's actually why I try to do this to get better at speaking, especially in more stressful situations. Yeah, I hope it gets better at some point. But I heard that some people love it, the German accent. But I guess not many, but some. So I can remove, those messages. Um, I'm a developer actually. I'm currently in between jobs. That's why I have the time for doing stuff like that. But I'm a software developer by trade. But I come from backend development for web server in C#, but I decided, hey, let's try something new and look into. And it's actually the reason why I got into development was because of game programming, and I decided, hey, what time is better than now to look into it now, and that's what I'm doing. Yeah, ASP. Actually, so I know there's a lot of hate for C# and Microsoft and whatnot, but I can see why people are using it. Let's say it like that. It's it has a lot of, how do I say, the whole ecosystem around C# and ASP.NET Core and everything is really big and has really useful tools, and that makes life sometimes a lot easier compared. As I looked into a little bit into Rust backend development, and maybe I just picked the wrong crates, but it was really a hassle for some things. Even easy things like open OAuth authentication, stuff like that. It was okay, not that easy to get something working there. And in C# it was more or less 2 lines of code, and it was done, and you could move on with your day. And I can appreciate those things, especially if you have some time frames or time limits you need to. Yeah, ASP.NET Core. Also it's a modern version, let's say. I'm not sure if it's the old version, so we can actually take a look. What I did was ASP.NET Core was this one. But there is thing, it's just called ASP.NET, and nope, that's not ASP.NET, but I'm not sure if it's even is maintained anymore. Let's see what. Yeah, Java was the first language I was introduced to at university. Actually, as one thing we did there was really, really funny. I think I'm not sure if it's still around. Java Kara, I think it was called like that. Yeah, right. That was the first thing I did at university was Java Kara. Um, and there you control per Java this bug. This is this bug here. And yeah, and if I remember correctly, there was different maps and different objectives you had to do. Um, okay. Really? Really, Fortran? I would as a but not for beginners. It's more like advanced course or and a friend of mine used Perl in his work, and it's I'm not sure. He can't do anything else. He has to live in this Perl world, or he can't do anything else. It's really amazing for me to see how some people yeah can translate what they learned in one language to another one. But yeah, that's was that. Spinner Core. So yeah, okay, for a specific course, Fortran is okay. Yeah, I think for me it was similar. First Java. I'm not entirely sure if it was C or C++. Is haha, there's my English again. Or C++. No, no, no. I never touched Fortran right now. As I know that it's a language, but I never used it and never looked into it. I know it's old, as far as I remember. Um, and yeah, it's not something I'm inclined to learn. Let's say it like that. As before I learn Fortran, I will go back to C or I don't know, or I try SIG or actually Go would interest me, but I haven't found any because I wanted to go into game development. I didn't find anything or an interesting game engine written in Go. Was it uses Go? No, 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 no. Fortran, no, never ever. Um, was it what you had to do, writing a compiler in Fortran? Then you are much more advanced than what I had. Did you pick the compiler building course in at university? Uh, okay, yeah. Everyone picks his own poison, or is that the saying? um, yeah, I can imagine compiler writing is, I think, the most difficulties thing you could do. No, I took only let's say fun stuff. I what was it called? I think OpenShell, something with OpenShell was my go-to. I forgot. Wahlpflichtfach. It's called in German, I think. It's been a while for me, so I'm not entirely sure how it was really called. But yeah. So, but now I really forgot what I wanted to do. Now I'm really with all that talking. Where was I? Yeah, I can't believe it. Uh, yeah, what I hated was theoretical uh, informatics, or how is I'm not sure, entirely sure. Just let me look it up. Wrong. Firefox. Theoretische Informatik auf Englisch. What is the English word? Theoretical computer science. Yeah, that was my hate topic at all. Really. No, it's fine. It's fine. Actually, I really like that. I think I streamed 4 days now in a row, and all I had were some random bots that came in and told me, "Hey, um, my headphone is not working." And I'm not joking. They really go in and say, "Hey, my headphone is not working. Can you write?" And ja, ja, as I said, oder wie ich schon sagte, ich will Englisch lernen da. Und für mich ist tatsächlich teilweise etwas schwer, von Englisch auf Deutsch oder wieder zurückzuwechseln. Deswegen bin ich da teilweise stuck in einer Sprache. Ähm, ich weiß nicht, warum mein Gehirn da so funktioniert, wie es funktioniert, aber so ist es leider. Ähm, so, aber für dich kann ich gerne ein bisschen Deutsch reden. Da du sowieso der Einzige bist, glaube ich, der sowieso ich habe es gar keinen auf dem Schirm. Ich habe ja, ich hatte schon teilweise, also, ich habe es auch gehabt auf meiner alten Arbeit. Ähm, das war sehr international. Also, wir hatten da einen Inder, ein ich ich lass mich nicht, östlich, Weißrusse, Russe, irgendwie sowas, glaube ich. Was hatten wir noch? Ja, dann zwischendrin noch aus Polen welche, und ich glaube dann auch noch ein paar aus irgendwo östlich. Wobei du mich jetzt gar nicht mehr genau fragen darfst, wo die überall alle herkamen. Wir haben halt dann alle irgendwie versucht, Englisch zu reden. Ähm, also, es war richtig nice, mit ihm zusammenzuarbeiten. Aber ich sage mal, es hat mir sicherlich nicht geholfen, mein Englisch besser zu machen, um's mal so auszudrücken. Ähm, wobei er tatsächlich ging. Ich glaube, gab es gab dann andere Inder, mit denen ich nicht direkt zusammengearbeitet habe, beim selben Job, und das war teilweise, wenn du da in 'n Meeting gegangen bist, Online-Meeting. Ich habe so zusammengefallen teilweise. Ich war so glücklich, dass mein Mikro defaultmäßig auf stumm war, weil ich einfach so lachen musste zwischendrin, und Video hatte ich dann seltenst an. Einfach aus dem Grund, weil mir Selbstbeherrschung gefehlt hatte bei manchen Menschen. Ähm, ja, das war eine der positiven Sachen. So, genau, ich muss mal kurz gucken, weil ich bin so grad gar nicht, ob wir mehr Menschen, boah, hey, ich habe angeblich sogar 3 Viewers auf Twitch. Almighty Viewers. Ich bin mir bloß nicht sicher, ob das wirklich immer richtig aktualisiert, weil zwischendrin habe ich das Gefühl, dass es nur aktualisiert, wenn ich die Seite neu lade, aber da ich da vorhin schon irgendwie wieder Stress hatte, ja, voll, mit 3 Leuten, da pass nur auf. Wenn ich mit dem Wachstum in 4 Tagen 3 Leute, dann habe ich in 8 Tagen, ist natürlich jetzt die Frage, ob's quadratisch oder exponentiell oder nur linear ist oder konstant. Ja, wobei konstant könnte natürlich auch noch konstantes Wachstum, genau. Ähm, aber who knows? Hatte ich mir schon fast gedacht. Also, mit so 'nem Namen. Aber du hast mich noch nach nichts gefragt. Von der Seite her kannst du so viel an Bord sein, wie du möchtest. Ähm, solange du mich nicht nach irgendwelchen komischen Dingen fragst, ist alles gut. So, wo war ich jetzt stehen geblieben? Genau, ich wollte eigentlich jetzt ja nicht mal noch vorwärts kommen mit mit meinem Programmieren hier. Ähm, genau. So, jetzt muss ich es doch noch mal starten, um mir in Erinnerung zu rufen, was ich machen wollte. So. Genau, ich wollte die Zielfindung optimieren von meinen Towern. Das wollte ich machen. Das ist der Plan jetzt als Nächstes. Ähm, so, but how? And I switch back to English. As I mentioned, I wanted to improve my English speaking, and I will do that. So, let me think, think. Uh, get in range would be probably. Hmm. No, 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 no. Let's do goodhit.com. Let me good hit. What's that? You spelled it wrong. Yeah, actually, I before I click on a random link, I want to see. Okay, let's. You spelled it wrong. Okay, and what exactly? Ach so, okay. It yeah. I expected something, let's say. Actually, those are the kinds of jokes I find funny, but only if I expect them. And I was not expecting them. So yeah. Um, but yeah, that reminds me of my most funniest joke. Den tatsächlich auf Deutsch. Sagt die eine Wand zur anderen, wir treffen uns an der Ecke, ist mein absoluter Lieblingswitz. Man darf mich nicht fragen, warum. Ich verstehe es selbst nicht. Ab und zu denke ich mir, ich sollte mich dafür auch in die Ecke stellen und schämen, aber trotzdem. Aus irgendeinem Grund, jedes Mal, wenn ich an diesen Witz denke, muss ich immer so innerlich so lachen. So, let's do it like I said. I wanted here to actually, exactly, I wanted to publish in at my enemies. Actually, maybe, actually, as I'm not entirely sure if it really makes sense what I'm doing, but I like the idea currently, and that's why I will try it. I will here trigger. Jo, hey, cool, dass du da warst. Schlaf gut, und hab eine schöne Zeit. Um, dumb. Oh, I muted myself shortly, but now I'm back. So let's do what I wanted to do, and that's actually implement, hopefully, now my yeah, events. What I want to do achieve is now that more or less my enemies publish an event that tells, hey, I'm now here, and then different, also all my towers can react to it, all my spatial grid can react to it, and stuff like that. And I think it makes it a little bit more flexible in the future if I need the position of enemies somewhere. Especially different towers could then use different kinds of sorting algorithms and stuff like that to yeah, to choose a different behavior in response to how the enemy moves. So let's do that. And the same probably we will do for removing it. On remove. So let's, how do we call it? We call it we call it, how do we call it? Enemy moved, and probably part of this will be target. No, will be E and T translation X, Y. So let's go here and let's declare a new event, abstract enemy moved. It has an entity and a position vector. Now let's go back in here, and entity is E and position is this. Oh, okay, I mistyped. Position. Okay. So Great. Let's go main and add event enemy move. So actually I wanted to read here. Okay. So we have inserted that, and now we need more or less add now there's a plugin here, app add observer on enemy moved. Oh, actually, I really need to rework this super amazing stuff I have here. FM. Well, let's go just to the bottom or almost bottom and declare on enemy move. Trigger would be trigger enemy move. And then we have mod hash spatial crit rest mod space. How did I call it? Hex spatial crit. All right. And here we more or less want to update index. Okay. We need to get the index, we need the size, and that is called crit hex grid render radius. Actually, I'm not sure if this really makes sense from the wording here, but hey, it's fine. Let index is grid index from world pass trigger event position and size is size. And now we can go in here, index, trigger, event, entity. For a little bit of overhead, we have now extracted it. But even better, now we can go to enemy. Actually, let's make something else. Enemy move. So definition. Let's define another one. First, we need enemy died, or let's just call it move entity also for now, because I do think you should try to keep it as simple as possible. I will just use this. And now on removed, we just... But actually, we don't need this. We can... I do believe, but let's... Actually, let's try this. I will remove this. And what is that? And now we can go into grid and just hopefully blah 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 blah. Plug in, next. We can go in here and on enemy removed, exactly. Removed, that's add observer on enemy remove. And that on enemy moved, right? We have here. Let's just define it on enemy remove. We have a trigger. Remove, on remove and enemy that I think was... Damn it, I removed the... And I need, once again, my spatial grid. And now spatial grid remove trigger target. Does that work? So let's see if that gets triggered. Do I still have... No, I have not. So info. Enemy removed from grid. That's the... Enemy removed from grid. So I already saw it, so nice. We have now that working. What is left to do? What is left to do? So what? So now, exactly, now I can go to the towers. I'm getting tired as well. So we can remove all that. So, and now how can I do that? I need probably something like a component. Let's put it somewhere here. Derive component, abstract targets in range. Let's call it like that. And for now, let's just make this a hash that entity. So more or I think I can actually derive default, and then I can via write require targets and range. Then it should be inserted automatically for me. Maybe at some point I want to make this. Actually, let's be more explicit about this and and just insert here targets in range default. Okay, now we have more or less those targets in range. And we want to spawn observe on enemy move. I'm not quite sure if what I'm trying to do is working, but let's see. Fn on enemy move. The trigger is something like trigger enemy move. Great. And actually, I hope it actually is working as I expect. But let's see. We need mod targets and range with our trigger returns entity that was targeted by the events that triggered this observer. It may be entity placeholder. Observable events can target specific entities. Oh, okay. Since there's a placeholder, maybe then I should double check if remove is working as I expect it to work. Isn't there observer exactly? That is what I wanted. Let observer is this. Perfect. Perfect. Because now I can let. Okay. target in tier equals where we get mod observer else observer is not tower. And then can I propagate? Okay, I need probably because okay. Can I traversal auto? I'm not sure what's it called. Tom. Let's open Firefox. Event traversal event auto propagate. That's event auto propagate. Genau, that's what I want. Let's see if it actually is working, but yeah. So targets in range, query get mode. Okay, I actually need to return here. So else, now we have our targets in range at nee, nee, I have the position, but I need here targets in range and run. Actually, should I take the global transform? Let's just take transform for now. It should be good enough for now. So now right here. Oh, and range, of course. I need the range as well. Range. So if trigger event position distance key translation. Actually I do require global will transform here in this case. So XY liner or equal my range. Then I say till insert, or actually, since it's not working, I can add here dref here insert trigger event entity else tier remove trigger event entity. What? Also, because I have to define this mod as well. Cannot bore data and dereference of as mutable. Mutable deref is required. Okay. Targets in range, then deref mod as well. Great. Very nice. So let's go with so now we have here on enemy moved, right. Let's see if this actually is working with this propagating now. Let's add some kind of info. Our enemies moved, and then we want to go into the grid on enemy move and insert here on grid enemy move just for now, and see if I can see both of them. Cargo run, but I still have. Okay, whatever reason it's not imported here. So let's see. This on crit enemy moved is spammed like hell. Why is it spammed like hell? On crit, yeah. On enemy moved, how enemy moved? Crit, on crit enemy moved. Here. Actually, let's go here, okay. Crit info on crit enemy moved. trigger event position size. On crit enemy move. Any move. Actually, it makes total sense that it's. But what I'm not entirely sure why actually I have a lot of enemies and all of them need to go in here. Okay. Okay. Let's go back to Firefox and the event traversal and read once again. Traversal. So how exactly blah blah blah. When true, I attempt to propagate. Yeah, okay, that should be. I did set that right. Let's double check enemy moved auto propagate. Okay. Commands a component one. Infinite loops are possible and I really would like to have the event propagation with an example. Observer propagation. Okay. Run if on timer. Is there a time common condition on timer? I didn't know that. But good to know for me. So observe block attack. Okay. So if I read this right, let's try traversal equal static power. Does that work? Oh, okay, no, it's not working. Hi. Nice to see you here. What brings you to my lonely heart of Twitch? So it's not working as I expected. So what am I going to do? So it only works with relationships. This is traversal. Yeah. Then let's do the best out of it. Maybe I can see what your channel is doing at some point as well, even if I'm just coming along. You're programming as well, or what kind of content do you provide? So, but let me try to get. Oh, nice. Actually, embedded was never my thing. Also, I'm original backend developer with C#, but now I'm trying to learn, broaden my horizon, and I picked BV, and I'm currently looking at BV engine and game engine, and try to understand how the traversal and event system is working. They have, but it's kind of, yeah. I'm not entirely sure how it's working with this traversal trait. Must implement this component we want to program. In this case, we want to bubble. So we use a child of component for propagation. The component supplied must implement the traversal trait. Okay, so if I understand that correctly, let me check if I can do that. Our I have now here auto definition. Can I? Traversal. I probably, let's check. Is it that easy? Nope, it's not that easy. Impl traversal for power. Let's see if yeah, BV. I think the biggest part is that BV is yeah, still compared to Godot and other engines really immature. That's why I guess that a lot of people make a lot of more progress with Godot and other engines. But I actually am kind of surprised how much, as especially this whole observable and event triggering system was new to me. I didn't know that exists. Actually I can't because it's Rust, and it's probably, let me try if I can just run it. No, I can't, because I have still some enemy moved. Where is the enemy moved? Is not auto definition. Traversal. Oops. Yeah. Let's do that, and now it's actually hopefully moving. Not moving, working again. So yeah, as you can see, I'm not a graphics designer by trade, but that's how it's working currently. But yeah, actually, I bought some 2D game assets on Humble Bundle for, I don't know, 20 euros, and I found some usable stuff. Actually, the enemies are just colored randomly, that's why they look different. And they have, I don't know. Yeah, but it's okay. For what the purpose is not that I make a nice looking, perfect game. It's, as I mentioned, more for learning. Same as with the sound. I just picked some random sound I had available. But yeah. But actually, the idea behind the game I actually like, because it's as you can see, each time a wave is completed, also I haven't implemented any display of which wave we are, a new path gets generated and you have to deal with that new path somehow. And each wave's enemies gets faster and yeah, get more health. But yeah, my pathfinding is still some kind of a little bit weird. But yeah, and everything should be as much randomness as possible, but I still want to make it somewhat, how do I call it, playable, that you have fun playing it. And maybe at some point, if I really get so far, some meta progression as well. But let's wait and see if it ever gets that far. For now, I'm struggling with some base concepts. So that was the game. Yeah, because currently with the parts that I'm annoyed about, and I know optimization is the enemy of progress, I would say, sometimes in development. But yeah, actually, it's kind of simple. Yeah, simple is maybe the wrong way. I just use more or less Dijkstra, or however it's called. I'm not entirely sure how you spell or pronounce that word correctly. And I over-engineered it as well, because I was interested in learning how generics work, and now I have here really engineered generic Dijkstra, where everything is more or less, almost everything is generic. But yeah. And more or less what I'm doing, as I called it random Dijkstra. Let's see if I can find it, random Dijkstra. And what it tries to do is more or less, what's random Dijkstra? Go to implementation. Yeah, so the interesting part, I guess, starts somewhere here. So more or less, I get a start and an end. Also, I pick the start and the end point on my grid. Maybe let me move this away, and then I can go back to oops, that was wrong combination. And now I can actually run once again. So more or less, those two I pick at the start of the pathfinding algorithm to make sure that they are always positioned on the left and on the right. That's the one thing that should stay the same, that some predictability should be there. And then more or less I pick a random point in between and use Dijkstra to get to that point, and then I do that between 1 and 3 times. I'm not here. Yeah, 1 and 3 times. I pick a random point, and then from the last point I go to the end, more or less. And that's more or less a whole algorithm here, which produces sometimes quite nice paths, but sometimes it's really, really weird. Especially if it tries to, sometimes maybe I get it. Yeah, for example, something like this, where it goes up here, then it goes back probably, and then it goes straight to the end. Yeah, at some point I'm thinking I want to make this a little bit less random, that it's more a winding path. But it was actually kind of hard to find some algorithm for that. You find good algorithms for getting straight to the end, but just getting some random winding paths was kind of hard to find some algorithm that works. But yeah, for now it's good enough, and for the purpose, it's enough. So, and my other issue I want to fix right now is Uh, right. Um, how to explain it? Eh, Actually, I probably just chosen method here. I have this method where I update my projectiles, and currently all projectiles iterate all enemies and see if they hit both enemies, which probably is not really a problem with the size of the game, because at most I have, I think, let's say 20, maybe 50. If a game would take really long, it could go maybe to 100 enemies, and that should still be, even if I have a lot of projectiles on the map, should be more or less fine because I do nothing else. But yeah, I really would like to improve that a little bit. And that's why I tried to look into how I maybe could handle that with events, because BB has this, as I mentioned, this triggered event system where I can more or less only update the enemy, where I can more or less here just um, actually, let's remove source. We don't need that anymore. Where I can more or less just trigger here an event, and then someone else, at least that's how I understood it, can then react to that event. But I'm currently a little bit stuck because it only goes to my first observer, and that is in my grid. And I update my spatial grid. Yeah, and that's what I'm trying to do right now, to figure out a way how I can reuse the same event multiple times, ideally, if at all possible. And that's why I had this open, to hopefully understand how traversal works. So, uh, power. Traversal. Enemy move. Let's see. Yeah, have a nice evening and a nice time. Yeah, thanks. I see if I can join you once as well, if I find you. So, read-only query data is not satisfying. No. Okay. Actually, let's try move that back to here. Returns the next entity to visit. So let's see. I need item, self item. What is self item? Well, item. So now can I see what types this is? Self item. Go to query data. The item returned by this world query. This will be the data retrieved by the query and this is visible to the. Let's try something else. Maybe I get a better understanding if I go actually. Not feature flags. Yeah, child of SP immutable relationship, right? But I thought that this implements. Can I go from here to the source code source code somehow? And speaking is traversal should be pointer traversal. No, it's but maybe actually traversal. Maybe there's some auto. Also traversal is implemented on foreign types and on entities that implement relationship. Okay. So yeah, I guess I really need to read here a little bit, but I won't do that on stream, and I'm getting tired as well. So for all the people that watched and are still here, I wish you a nice evening. And yeah, see you around, I would say.